Hey guys, today we're going to talk about equations of circles. So, where does the equation of a circle come from? Well, here's what I'm hoping to show you. So, right here we have this length and we have it labeled as x minus h. And that's because right here, this is my center at hk, and here's some point xy. To find out what this distance is, I would need to take x minus h to find out what that distance is. So that's why it's x minus h. Same thing over here for y minus k. To be able to get this distance, I'll have to take the y coordinate minus the y coordinate of my center. Now, another thing I want to point out to you real quick is that this is the radius of my circle. Also, if we started to do the Pythagorean theorem, it would be the C of the Pythagorean theorem. And maybe this would be A and this would be B. So if you notice, we have a right triangle right there. So that means that the Pythagorean theorem has to be true. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And then we can plug in what we had for A. X minus H plus, plug in what we had for B, which was y minus k, and plug in what we had for C, which was r for our radius. And we end up with x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So you're going to see this for every equation of a circle. The h and k, those are things that we tend to use for a center, or in Algebra 2, you're going to see it as a vertex for a parabola pretty often. So h and k are things that we use fairly often to hold in placeholders for certain points for us. So my cat's playing in the curtains and it's adorable. She's happy. Okay, you don't care. I'm just... Anyways, Pythagorean theorem, circles, equations of circles, woohoo. One thing that I am hoping you notice right now, hopefully if this wants to switch for me. Okay, well, it will in a second, I hope. If you notice right here, I have x minus h and y minus k. So that means that, ooh, my center is going to be at hk. So since I have minus h minus k and then I have hk in my center, those are going to be opposite of what is in your equation. So if you're in your equation you have x plus 2 squared, you know you're supposed to have a negative 2 in there for your x coordinate of your center. Over here you need to take the square root of whatever that number is there on the end of your equation, and that will give you your radius. Now, let's say there's nothing in there with x and y. We just have x squared plus y squared equals r squared. Well, actually, that's totally okay. So if I have nothing added in there, well, what's the number value of nothing? 0, right? So if we end up with something like this where there's nothing in there, our center is just at 0, 0. All right, so let's go through and find all of our centers and then all of our radii. So we'll find our center and our radius. And I'm just going to copy and paste these just real quick to get through these a little quicker. Fantastic. Okay, so let's go through and find all of our centers first. So remember, they are going to be the opposite of whatever is inside of here. So for my center, instead of having a negative 6, I'm going to start with a positive 6 right here. And for my y part, instead of having a positive 2, I'll have a negative 2. Cool. Over here, remember, it's supposed to be the opposite. So I have a positive 3 here, means I have a negative 3 in my center. I have a negative 2 or a positive 2 here, means I have a negative 2 in my center. There's nothing being added in there for x or y. So the nothing, a number of nothing is 0. So my center there will be 0, 0. Over here in this last one, x has nothing added into it. Nothing as a number is 0. 3 there is negative. So the opposite of negative 3 is positive 3. So now let's go through and find all of our radii. So from the radius or from the equation, what you want to do is take what it's equal to and take the square root of that number. So the square root of 49 gives me 7. I'm going to take the square root of what my formula is equal to, so 5. So what's my radius? The square root of 5, since the square root of 5 is not a pretty number. Over here, we'll take the square root of what my equation is equal to, so the square root of 16. That means that my radius is 4. Over here, my radius is 9, or my equation is equal to 9 over 16. So I need to take the square root of 9 over 16, which really, that's the same as taking the square root of 9 and dividing that by the square root of 16. So the square root of 9 is 3, the square root of 16 is 4, so my radius is 3/4. All right. Now let's say that they give us a center and a radius, and then we have to write our equation. I went ahead and put the equation up there in the corner just in case you needed to reference it. So first of all, what I like to do is I like to put my x, a little bit of space, squared plus y, a little bit of space, squared, equals. Because I know that each one of my equations is going to look something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and plop that on into each of these. Kitties are chasing each other around. Okay, so remember for the centers, they need to be the opposite. So I have a positive 3 for my center, which means that needs to be -3 inside of my equation. I have a negative 1 inside of my center, so that means I need to have a positive 1 inside of my equation. And then I need to take my radius and square it to get it into my equation. So 4 squared, of course, is 16. And then we'll keep on doing that. So remember, opposite. Center is at -6. So I have x plus 6. Center is at -3. So I have y plus 3. And then I need to take my radius and square it. So 5 squared gives me 25. Hang on. Bonnie? Quit whining. Do you want to come say hi? Come here, come say hi. Yes. Look how sweet she is. I know. Okay, you don't care, but hey, dog. Okay. Anyways, you have YouTube. You can skip ahead. I don't care. Plus, what do you have to do right now? I mean, like, really, what are you doing? Probably not a lot. Anyways, over here. So over here, we need to, our center is at 0, 0. So I either need to take x minus 0 or x plus 0, y minus 0 or y plus 0. The answer is still the same either way. And we need to make sure that we take this radius and we square it. Now, when we take 2/3 and we square it, that's just like taking 2 and squaring it and putting it over 3 and squaring it. So 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9. Now you can absolutely leave that equation just like that, but not a lot of people do. I would rewrite it as x squared plus y squared equals 4/9. Okay, now over here. For our center, -9 means I need to have a +9 in there with my x. +1 means I need to have a -1 in there with my y. And then I need to take my radius and square it. So remember, a squared and a square root cancel each other out. So we're just left with 14 right there in my equation. Okay, now we want to write the equation of the circle given a graph of the circle. So here's what we want to do. We want to figure out where is the center and what is the radius. Because as you saw from just a second ago, if we have the center and the radius, we can go ahead and write that equation of a circle pretty easily. So that's what we'll go through first, is find all of our center and radii. So over here for circle A's center is right there at the origin. So the center there is 0, 0. And then it goes all the way out until there. So my radius goes from the origin all the way out here till 10. So my radius is 10. Over here for circle B, I had to go over 4 and then down 2. So my center is at 4, -2. And then let's see, from the center out to the circle, that's 1, 2, 3 units for the radius. All right. Over here, the center for circle A. So we go to the right 3 and up 4. So our center is at 3, 4. Maybe I should put these on the other side. And then let's see, our radius from A out to that point over there is going to be 6 units for that radius. Our center over here for B, we went left 2 and down 2, so that means my center is at -2, -2. And if we count all on over from B all the way out to here, my radius is also 6. So now we'll write our equations of these circles. So equation of circle A over here, my center is 0, 0. So you can put x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared, absolutely fine. However, it's just a little bit cleaner to write x squared plus y squared equals. And then we need to take r and square it, so 10 squared is 100. Now let's write the equation for circle B. So circle B had a center at 4, -2. So now I'm going to have x minus 4, because it's opposite, squared plus y plus 2, because it's opposite, squared equals. Then I need to take my radius and square it, so 3 squared is 9. Cool, let's find circle A on the next one. So my center is at 3, 4, so I need x minus 3, since it was positive, plus y minus 4, since it was positive, squared equals. And then my radius is 6, so 6 squared gives me 36 inside of my equation. And then for circle B, my center is at -2, -2. So since they're both negative, that means I need to have x plus 2, since they're the opposite, squared plus y plus 2, since it's the opposite, squared equals. And then our radius is 6 again, so 6 squared gives me 36. Good deal. Last thing we need to learn how to do is how to graph a circle. So here are the things you want to do to be able to graph a circle. You want to know what the center is, and you want to know what the radius is. So first thing, let's find the center and the radius of each of these circles. So over here, remember it's got to be the opposite. So I have x minus 4, so that's positive 4. Y minus 2, so that's positive 2. So my center is at 4, 2. My equation is, oh my gosh, I'm on the wrong side. I'm sorry, guys. Whoop. Fixed. Okay, so my center is at 4, 2. Now, my radius, I have to take the square root of whatever my equation is equal to. So the square root of 16 is 4. Let's do the same thing over on the next side. My center, so since I have x plus 3, that means I need a negative 3. There's nothing in there with my y, so that means there's a 0 in there for my y. I need to take the square root of what my equation is equal to, so the square root of 25 gives me 5 for that radius. Now let me show you how to graph. So let's graph this one first. What I want you to do is go ahead and plot the point 4, 2. So we're going to go over 4, up 2. There's the center of our circle. Now our radius is 4, right? So I'm going to count out 1, 2, 3, 4 units in each direction, left, right, up, down, of that center point. And now what we're going to do is we are going to try our best. So I know that making a perfect circle is difficult. I know most of my circles look like potatoes. If I don't use a compass, they're all over the place. My only thing is, please give it some curve to it, okay? Like a circle is curvy. It doesn't have straight edges, okay? We're not graphing a square, we're graphing a circle. So do your best to make it as round as possible. And if it doesn't look perfect, that's okay. Neither does mine. So we'll all survive. I suggest kind of connecting the dots as you go to kind of make sure it stays at least a little bit curvy. Not bad. See, it's a little lopsided, but it's curved. You can tell it's supposed to be a circle. You can tell that I wasn't trying to graph something with sharp edges on it, okay? It makes a difference. Okay, cool. Let's graph this last one. So our center is at negative 3, 0, so we'll plot that first. Negative 3, 0, cool. And then our radius is 5, so in each direction, I'm going to go out 5 units. And now I'm going to do my best. See? Lopsided, but still, you can tell it's supposed to be a circle. Okay, so I'll see you guys later. We'll learn a little bit more about some algebra stuff that we need to review before next year. But first, we're going to do a little bit of last-minute review on circles. And then our time will be coming to an end. Slowly but surely, we are getting through our school year. So I miss you so much. I'll see you guys later. Bye.